Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys in California. Before I begin, we give all praises, Most High Yahweh, acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledge Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. I have a quick question for the world. Just a real quick question. How do you expect to be part of the revelation here at the end when you run away from knowledge? How do you think that you somehow play a role in the last days when you reject wisdom? You're going to realize that wisdom was the barometer that shows you if you were a sheep or a goat. If you were a sheep of the Most High or a goat that was pretty much tethered to the world. The vast majority of the world runs away from knowledge. Just like when we've had conversations with people and they get that look that we are all familiar with, that blank stare. It's like, hey, brother, you're getting way too deep. You're giving way too much information. I just want superficial things. I just want things that get me from one day to the next. Don't give me too much information. Don't give me too much to think about. Don't scare me with facts. Don't scare me with information that rocks the boat of my perception of the world. That is what the vast majority of the world is dealing with. They want to understand what you're bringing out on their own terms. There was this dude that was on TikTok and he was talking about how somehow we were saying that all white people this and all white people that. And I'm like, I never said that. He goes, I haven't, enjoyed this life. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm part Native American. I said, oh, so what are you, like, government approved Native American? I said, because, the true Aboriginals are the so-called Negroes. You have gone to the government, you have gone to the Gentiles to get approval so that they would recognize you as being native. That dude was putting down comment after comment after comment. I went there with him. All of a sudden, I looked back later on, all of his comments were deleted. I was like, oh, so you didn't have any, come back to the fact that you are a government approved native? It's very evident when you go to a powwow and the government forces you to put their colors in the middle of your arena when you are dancing. I'm sure that was all part of it. Like, hey, you can have your powwow, man. Hey, you can have your powwow. But I'm going to let the whole world know that I'm the reason why you're having this powwow right now. I'm going to have my military take these colors of ours and go right in the center of where you're going to be dancing. And we're just going to stand there and make you stare at our flag. Just letting the world know that I let you do this. I'm running this. This is what the government wants you to know, that they are in control. And that if you want to be recognized as a so-called Native American, that you're going to have to go through them. You're going to have to pass their blood quantum. And if they say they're Native American too, you got nothing to say. If they bust out the whole I'm Cherokee BS, you got to just roll with it. But if a so-called black person says that they are the original people, all of a sudden there's a problem. But that's all right, though, because it doesn't matter. Because, see, we're not worried about what the world says or having to go and get government approval. Because you're going to realize after you read some of these verses right now from the ODS of Solomon that the world, when you have your eyes open, you realize that the world is a corpse. It talks about that in the Coptic. I'm going to say Testament of Thomas. We'll come on that another time. That's in the Lost Scriptures book. But when you really have your eyes open, you realize that the world is a corpse. The world is dead. The world rejects knowledge because they cannot receive it. So when you understand that, and then you look in the Bible, then the Bible starts to make sense. So you read 2nd Ezra chapter 56, talking about the rest of the world being like spittle to the Most High, because he's not dealing with everyone. All the churches have tried their best to make it seem as if we're all the same, we're all equal. The Most High loves everyone. The Most High hears all of our prayers. But behind the scenes, we know that's not true. They treat us like garbage. They treat us like second and third class citizens. That's what they've done this whole time. As we brought out this information, they have done their best to first try to discredit it. Now they're at the point where they can't discredit it anymore. So now they just try to ignore it and hide it. And you can do that for a little while, but not for much longer. That's why these planets are letting you know that your time of being able to pull the wool over everyone's eyes is rapidly coming to an end. And there are about to be a whole lot of pissed off people that are going to realize that when the Most High now is like saying, okay, now you can see. I'm going to take these blinders off. So now you can see. And then you're going to be really upset. You guys at first have been upset with us because we've tried to tell you the truth. I don't know how many times I try to talk to people and they get mad at me for trying to bring them some information. But they love their pastor when he's sitting there telling them lies. They love that priest as they want, as they're telling them lies. They love the lie. Now we're going to jump into the Old Testament pseudepigrapha right quick. Okay? Volume 2 first. And we're going to look at the Odes of Solomon. And so you got to understand that these other books that have been hidden really open your eyes to prophecy. Open your eyes to the last days. The world is still stuck on church prophecy. Fake prophecy. That's what you're getting from the churches. Have you noticed that nothing that they're saying is coming to pass? Because you're not dealing with the people of the book. You got to understand, everything with them starts with 500 BC and the Greeks and goes forward. But see, Herodotus is their father of history. So they're only dealing with history until 500 BC or so. Okay? But these prophecies that were written in the Bible were dealing with people that existed way before that. So therefore, the prophecies are revolving around a particular group of people that were in existence before the Greeks and the Romans and their version of history. So therefore, you must, going forward, keep making up fake people and fake lands that had nothing to do with the people of the book. And all these people have taken this covenant with, this world. They've made this covenant with the world. And now that the Most High is now flooding the world with wisdom and knowledge, they cannot receive it because the wisdom and knowledge was given to the people that are the people of the book, the people of the covenant, and the Gentiles that are cleaving to these people. See, we've had Gentiles cleaving to us for thousands of years. And it would make sense that if we keep coming back and regenerating, then the people of the book, the Israelites, the people, that made the covenant with the Most High, they would be regenerating. But it would make sense that also the Gentiles that had made covenants with us and had followed us and cleaved to us in the past would also be regenerating and coming back. So that's why some Gentiles can get this knowledge, can get this understanding, and others, the vast majority, cannot. Because the vast majority of them were confederate with Psalms 83 with destroying us. They got their blessings for generation after generation here. They were regenerating. So it makes sense as to why when they were, accumulating wealth, they made sure they made laws that kept that wealth in that particular family. Because when they regenerate on that bloodline and they get that wealth again and again and again. And just like we kept getting those curses again and again and again as we regenerated. So now we're at the switch that we are now going to be walking in the blessing, and you and Psalms 83 are going to be walking in the curses. And it's very evident who's who now because of wisdom. You can see whose wisdom is dealing with and who she is not dealing with. You can see at what level of wisdom, because we all get it in levels. Some get a little bit of wisdom, some get a little bit more, some get a lot, some are overflowing with it. But again, that was all based on the Most High and who he's downloading this information to. Check it out. Wisdom of Solomon right here. Actually, the Odes of Solomon. Ode 24. We'll start at 5, okay? And the chasms were opened and closed, and they were seeking the Lord as those who are about to give birth. But he has not given to them for nourishment. So he was not given to them for nourishment because he did not belong to them. So again, some people are not going to get the Most High. They're not going to get this nourishment. They're not going to get this wisdom. But the chasms were submerged in the submersion of the Lord, and they perished in that thought with which they had remained from the beginning. For they labored from the beginning, and the end of their labor was life. And all of them who were lacking perished. Again, right there. And all of them who were lacking perished, because they were not able to express the word so that they might remain. We got a whole lot of people that can't express the word, do not want the word, run from the word, run from this truth. That's how you can see who's who now. Before, when wisdom was not here, and we were not being given this knowledge and understanding, we were under those curses, we were drinking those dregs, we were drunk with those dregs. We all look like shit, what is it, the trees in the winter with no leaves, talked about there. Okay, we all look the same. But now that it's coming to spring and summer, some of us are sprouting leaves. Some of them, these trees, are staying, dormant, no leaves. And you can see that who that is now. Okay? So again, and all of them who were lacking perished, because they were not able to express the word so that they might remain. And the Lord destroyed the thoughts of all those who had not the truth with them. And that's what you can see right now. The people who do not have this truth, you can just see the destruction. You can see that there's just not for them, and that they are very superficial, and there's no depth to these people. Okay? For they were lacking in wisdom, they who exalted themselves in their mind. Is that not what these other nations have been doing? Exalting themselves in their mind. That's why these people are walking around here still thinking that they're in their blessing, and they're just marking themselves. See, I had those opportunities, or I've had those situations already happening multiple times. People just marking themselves. You can see how superficial the vast majority of the world is, right? But they exalt themselves in their mind. And that's exactly what you see. Again, for they were lacking in wisdom, they who exalted themselves in their mind. So they were rejected because the truth was not with them. This is the book of Revelation. We are living in the book of Revelation. See, they have to make it seem as if it's all about wars and fighting and this nation rising against this nation, because that's all that they have. Because there's no wisdom. They have exalted themselves in their mind, their pastors and their priests. Just like, hey, this person's already debunked that. And who are they exactly? Oh, they have a PhD from, okay. Yeah, we're good. They've exalted themselves in their own minds. That's exactly what they've done. They have excluded the people of the book, and they start their history from 500 BC. They were from Herodotus going forward, and as the people of the book that actually have the covenant, they have ignored because they have exalted themselves in their own minds. But see, now they're starting to be exposed. All this information, all this, historical information, social information, scientific information, theological information, all coming out, and these people have no response. I don't see any videos coming out into trying to debunk this information. Don't see anybody trying to make videos trying to prove that those so-called natives now are the natives from the past. Like when the guy would try to step to me and run his mouth, and we started to go back and forth, all of a sudden he realized that, this isn't the game that I'm used to. These aren't the same so-called black people that, just back down when I just try to bust out I'm part native and I'm just going to bow down to that BS. I was like, why don't you prove that? Show me something other than blood quantum that, and then somehow that you're not just a government approved native. Please show me that. Show me how you fit these curses. Yes, I know that some of the natives definitely go through tough times. Many Gentiles go through rough times. Even the Gentiles don't get treated equally, but they damn sure get treated better than we do. None of them want to switch places with us. So I'm not saying that so-called Native Americans have not suffered, because yes, they have. But they haven't suffered enough to tell the truth of who we are. They're not willing to say, you know what? Yeah, we've been here, but these people were here before us. Yes, we've been with these people. We've had a covenant with these people. We've worked with these other people. These so-called Negroes are not African. They were already here. So they suffer, but they don't suffer that much that they're going to tell that much truth. So this lets you know, when you understand this, then when you go and look at the Bible, you get more understanding. When you understand right here, let's read again. And all of them who were lacking perished, because they were not able to express the word, so that they might remain. And the Lord destroyed the thoughts of all those who had not the truth with them, for they were lacking in wisdom, they who exalted themselves in their mind. So they were rejected, because the truth was not with them. For the Lord declared his way and spread out his grace, and those who recognized it knew his holiness. Hallelujah. So like I said, you can tell who's who now. So let's take a real quick look. Well, I gave you guys this so you guys can look at it a little bit bigger. All right. Revelation 18. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Psalms 83. All of them have what? Okay. Have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. They are now drinking those dregs, which now makes them totally clueless to wisdom, makes them an enemy to wisdom. It's like they're running around here drunk. So for all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So they've waxed rich because they've all drank the Kool-Aid. They all drank that wine of Babylon. That was all part of it. So once you drunk that and you got your opportunity to enjoy your blessings, now it's time to pay the piper. Now the Most High is calling you to the carpet. That's what's going on now. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. This is wisdom. This is why many of us are pulled out, but the vast majority are left behind, left with no wisdom. This is how you can tell who's been called out of Babylon, because you have knowledge, understanding. Jews and Gentiles, the chosen ones that are cleaving to the Most High and his people. And the rest are left to their own vices at this point. Okay? For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double. She filled that cup of, destruction for us. She gave us that cup of, ignorance. We were drinking those dregs of ignorance, so that then we would be at the bottom and they were at the top. But now the Most High is giving her that cup. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. Remember that? Raising themselves up in their own minds. Raising themselves up and making themselves think they are superior in their own minds. Right? How much she hath glorified herself. That's exactly what they did. Glorified themselves on lies. And lived deliciously on our lands, enjoying our resources. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. That goes perfectly with that part right there. For they were lacking in wisdom, they who exalted themselves in their mind. They exalted themselves in their own mind. Okay? So that's exactly what you're seeing going on right here. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow, glorifying themselves. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Most High, power who judgeth her. That's where we are in prophecy right now. They'll try to run their mouths, try to say a little something, and then once we open up our mouths and give them that wisdom, just like that dude ran, that demon left, that demon ran. They're like, uh-oh, he knows. I can't pull the whole, oh, you're all from Africa BS. You all came over here from Africa, and we were the original ones here. Yeah, buddy, that's not going to work no more. Not going to work here anymore. So once you pull that string from that yarn right there, it just snowballs and rolls on down. Once we realize that those aren't the original people, Ish is not the original people, then like I said, then it's like, hey man, all you guys, if they're not the people, as you say are the people of the book, and you try to say these are the people of these lands, and we can easily prove that they're not, now you've got real issues. Now you've got huge issues now. So it's a beautiful time, and thank the Most High for awakening us and choosing us and having us be here at this time. I thank the Most High every single day. I'm praying we're all continuing to pray at 6 o'clock West Coast time. Like I said, I was up again at 3. Most High had me up. I'm sure many of us are being called to, talk to the Most High, have downloads on the Most High in the middle of the night. Let's keep on doing that as well. We're quickly coming up to that 20th, and Pluto moving into Aquarius, and I'm expecting to see huge events then, huge downloads. However, the Most High wants to express, this awakening. I'm sure it's going to actually increase even more. Our awakening and them falling more and more into ignorance. All praise the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to Earthly Mother. Who is wisdom? Who is Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.